how I started to get out of debt during deployment. For this video, I'm going to share some financial F-ups I had during my first deployment, lessons I learned after that deployment, and resources for you if you're about to deploy. So this video is for you if you're about to deploy or know someone that's about to deploy. Definitely share this out to them, or you just want to know more about getting out of debt. I'm Mike Damazo. This is a channel to help you get the F out of debt and then build wealth. 8 deployments in 10 different countries. That is how many deployments I've been to in the different countries, the amount of different countries that I've gone and visit, meaning the different ports we've gone to with the Navy. So a deployment is the time away from friends and family where you're either on board a ship or you're on a different base doing whatever the military has you doing. For me, being in the Navy, I deploy on a ship as part of someone that's in the aviation community. We go on ships, our detachment goes on ships, basically a ship rider going wherever the ship is going, doing whatever mission needs to be done. The biggest mistake I had on my first deployment was not saving enough money. The reason being is it was my first deployment. So a kid from Jersey going all the way to Cali and then going to the west coast of Singapore, Bahrain, Dubai, and all that. At the time, I definitely wanted to explore and have a great time. So I would just be spending money without thinking about it too much. The reason being is when we're deployed for the Navy, we're out to sea for however many days, and then when you do hit port, it's just that freedom and liberty that you do have as long as you don't have duty, which I'll get back to you about as a way to start up a side hustle if you're deployed on the boat, on the ship. Another thing with that was I definitely did not have a budget at that time in my first deployment. It was literally just the money was coming in. I didn't have to think about anything else because food was already provided. Clothes, I was wearing the same uniform every day unless I was going into port where I would have my clothes and then I would shop for new clothes just because I had that luxury at the time of not caring too much about my personal finance. So paying attention to the extra pay you do get when you're deployed. So if you are deployed, say you're in the aviation community and you work out during flight quarters, you would get flight deck pay, you have sea pay as well. There's different types of pays that I will cover in a future video. And you do still get your BAH as long as you're married, you still have your place. There are certain instances where you would lose that. It all depends on your command. When you're deployed, you want to pay attention to the extra pay you will get, such as sea pay, flight deck pay, or family separation pay. In a future video, I'll definitely do one of all the different pays that the military has for individuals that's deployed, or even if they're living overseas, which is where I'm at right now. So I definitely want to do that in a future video. So the lesson learned was definitely implementing a budget for my next deployment. With that being said, I knew next time when I did go out, I knew, okay, I want to save X amount of money. That way I could pay off whatever debt that I did have at the time. Now, clearly that didn't happen after a few deployments after because I still had money saved, but then I would blow it as soon as I would come back home. If you do want to make extra money while you're deployed, say you're on a ship, there's people that is always looking for haircuts. They'll pay people to get a haircut, or even people that do laundry for you. You get the hookup for laundry, or you're willing to do someone else's laundry. You just load it up and then put it in a dryer, and then you just hand it to that person. They'll pay you for that as well. I've even had an instance where I had the last monster and someone that was deployed with me wanted the last piece of monster and offered me $20 for it. So it's just the supply and demand. You gotta think between the goods and services that you could provide for others, such as standing watch. People that want to go out in town or enjoy liberty with their friends and their homies, they might want to switch duty sections with you so that they're in the same duty section as their friend, and you'll be able to stand their watch, and then you work out the details of how much they'll pay you, how much you offer, whatever the case is. There's definitely extra ways to earn money while you're deployed. Another thing also with deployment was it's a great time to just really be able to focus on yourself and think about different things you want to learn. So on my first deployment, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. It took me a while to actually implement those things. And other deployments, I would just read more on real estate and then stock investing and then just personal finance. So that's why it took me a while to be able to put out the channel now. And I feel confident in the things that I'm sharing, and also based off the experience that I've had when I first got in and the deployments that I've been through. So now you prep to go to deployment, have a budget in place, you've done your deployment, worked that budget, you saved $10,000. You want to have that plan after deployment. So for your homecoming, do you want to buy a car? Do you want to use that as a down payment for a house or out of state real estate? Those are all options available to you. You'll have more capital than when you first went on deployment. So whatever the case is, the biggest thing is also having a spending plan after deployment. Speaking of spending plan after deployment, the savings plan during deployment, the military has this thing called the SDP Savings Deployment Plan, which is a maximum of $10,000 that you can put away, and it has an interest rate of 10%. That's unheard of. So definitely talk to your local personnel finance department on seeing how to set that up prior to you going on deployment and figuring out the way to maximize that. So you could definitely allot your extra pay to go into that, or you could even allot your extra pay to go into more of your TSP. Speaking of budgets, check out the 50-20-30 video I did for budgeting, and for next week we'll cover more on military pay. Thank you for watching. Tap that thumbs up if you haven't already. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. High five that subscribe, join the notification gang, and also definitely sound off in the comments below where you deployed, what you think of deployments, and if you have any questions. Stay legendary, and I'll see you in the next video. There, Dobby. Where, dog?
For me.
Alright, so I'm at my first stop. I don't even know if the sound can hear from here. You guys ready? Oh, sorry, I need you to sign the waiver.
Yeah, let me send my release.
Alright, so first tour, which is the Big Buddha, wherever we find it. Alright, you taking the first bite?
I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit.
Okay, okay.
And I'm gonna melt the butter in here.
Alright, ramen review. You know the deal.
One bite, everyone knows the rules.
One slurp, everybody knows the rules. You gonna get it? We're now going to the A Factory. Mask on. How does it taste?
So it says I recommend it to those who do not like alcohol, but it has like an alcohol taste.